Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So, as you can probably tell from the title of this video, we have had Mr. Milo for a whole month now. And I know you guys always ask me loads of questions. Rocky's decided to go back to bed. You guys always ask me loads of questions about him, so I thought I would give you guys a little update. I did film a video when we first got him, and I'll link that in case you guys haven't seen that, but it's a month later, a lot has changed, so I thought I would give you guys a little update and see how he is getting on. I actually, on my Instagram, asked you guys if you had any questions, so like the loser I am, I have written out all of the questions so I can make sure I'm covering everything that you guys do want to know. So the first question is, where is he from? I covered this more in my last video, but we actually rescued him from a rescue centre called Many Tears Rescue in Wales. And the reason that he was at the rescue centre is because he was an unsold puppy, because he has a very, very, very slight underbite, like the tiniest underbite, and apparently he wasn't sold because of that. Obviously we don't know the whole story and we never will, but that's what we were told. We've had him checked out by the vets. He is very happy, very healthy, and actually his underbite is so minimal, like it's hardly there. So we obviously checked it when we picked him up, but it wasn't a concern for us really. Another kind of like few questions I'm just gonna put in one. I get a lot of questions about how did you manage to get a breed, what breed is he, and how did you manage to rescue a breed like that? So he is a Cavapoochon. He's exactly the same breed as Rocky. So Cavalier crossed with Toy Poodle, crossed with a Bichon. However, we know, obviously because we got Rocky from a breeder, we know that he's half poodle, but we don't know exactly what what split Milo is. I'm kind of aware that you guys probably want to see more of Milo than me, but he wants to go to sleep. So yeah, we don't know exactly what mix he is. I think he might be half Cavalier. Oh, I think he might be half Cavalier because his coat is very, very different to Rocky's. Rocky's got a very poodle coat. It's very like tight curls, whereas Milo's coat is just quite wavy. And then to answer the question, how did we rescue a puppy like that? The Many Tears Rescue, actually one of the reasons we did kind of look at them, well, I literally was on there like several times a day just waiting for the right dog to come up for us, and I knew that I'd seen quite a lot of dogs that came up that were the kind of breed that we wanted, so that's why I put a lot of time and attention to them. And also they're based in Wales, which we're in Bristol, isn't a million miles away, so I knew like logistically that we could make it work. So yeah, like Many Tears Rescue, they do a lot of, like I said, ex-breeding dogs. They do unsold puppies. I mean, they obviously rescue all sorts of dogs, but they seem to do a lot of certain types of breeds, which I hadn't noticed other rescue centres did have. And we obviously know like how much we love Rocky's breed. We love his temperament. We love that he's really intelligent, really sassy. Milo wants to go outside, bear with. Right, okay, he pooped. What was I saying? Breed of the dog. Okay, so I think we made a really good decision with our choice of breed for Rocky. We did a lot of research into it beforehand, knew that was right. So we knew when we were rescuing a dog, we wanted something that was kind of similar, maybe like Cavapoochon, like any kind of poodle cross. We did consider other breeds as well, but yeah, we just know we love Rocky so much, and they do have a lot of similarities personality-wise between them. I had a couple of questions as well about how Rocky and Milo get on together, and how we kind of introduce them to each other. So introduction-wise, we actually had to take Rocky with us when we went to go pick up Milo, and they kind of met there, which I guess was good because it's kind of like neutral territory. And the only reason is basically it's called a personality kind of test, but they just say it's basically just to make sure that Rocky showed no signs of aggression, which we knew he wouldn't anyway. Like, he's pretty chilled out, so we weren't too worried about that. And then when we got them back, we just kind of took them out in the garden together. And then before we sort of brought them inside, I'll be honest, like, we didn't give it too much thought into how we introduced them, because we know that Rocky is very laid back and we know that he loves other dogs. So we weren't too concerned about that. We were just more concerned about getting Milo settled, because he was terrified. Like, the first day we got him, he was just shaking, like he just wouldn't stop shaking, and it was so heartbreaking to see, but at the same time it's been so lovely to see him just come out of his shell, and he's like the sassiest little diva you could ever imagine now. So it's been really nice to see him kind of grow. And then how do they get on? Really, really well, in short. Like I said, we know that Rocky likes other dogs. Like, my parents have dogs, he socializes with them a lot. Yeah, they get on really well. Rocky absolutely loves him, has been playing with him non-stop. My parents' dogs are quite a bit older, and any other friends' dogs that Rocky's ever had like play dates with have been a lot older, and they haven't been playful. So Rocky's never had that kind of, like, you know, dogs that he meets on a regular basis, that he has a connection with, that he plays with. So it's really nice. This is what we were like literally hoping and praying for, to get him like a little brother that he could play with. And yeah, they play with each other so much. So in the beginning, our main concern was that Rocky was going to squash him, because Rocky was like jumping on him, he was knocking him over. It wasn't aggression or anything like that. He was just so excitable and playful. And obviously Milo was like a third of the size of Rocky. I think when we picked him up, he was like 2.5 kilograms. Rocky is 6.5 kilograms. So obviously I kind of mentioned it to my vet, and they said, don't worry about it. If he's not squealing, if he's not bleeding, if he's not limping, just let them sort of crack on. And, you know, it's important for Rocky to assert his dominance as well, because he's like the alpha out of the two of them. But now, actually, I feel like they've taken a bit of a turn where Rocky's the grumpy old man, and now Milo's come out of his shell, and Milo wants to play a lot more, and Rocky's a bit like, oh, bugger off. But they do get on really, really well as a whole. Yeah, so we're really happy about us, because that was literally the most important thing. I had questions about crate training as well. Oh my gosh, this has been such a journey. So the way we crate trained Rocky is we just, I mean, you can probably see the crate there. We had a very similar setup with Rocky, a really nice kind of cozy little sanctuary, little kind of bedroom situation for him. And I think the first night he cried, this is Rocky by the way, first night Rocky cried for like half an hour. The next night he only cried for like 15 minutes. And then from that point onwards, he would literally cry for like 2 minutes and then go to sleep, and he'd sleep all through the night. And looking back, I just think, because after like 5 days, he was fine. And looking back, I just think we got really lucky. And also it's very, very different crate training a puppy that comes from a breeder and a nice kind of home environment than to crate training a puppy that's not had necessarily a very good start in life. So we didn't really think about that, to be honest. The first night he slept all the way through. I think he was just terrified. And then the next night he screamed and screamed. And obviously I always think just leave them to it, don't pay them any attention. But there is a point where it becomes unhealthy for the dog. So you can't obviously leave them all night screaming. You know, we were trying different things. We're doing crate training with him during the day. He has all of his meals in the crate, everything like that. We then eventually took the crate upstairs next to the bed, which did help for a little bit. But as soon as we started moving the crate out of the room, it just got worse again. He had a bit of an episode with a funny stomach as well. We had to take him to the vets. And for some reason that kind of sparked it even more. I don't know why, but we've had such a tough journey with this. We were just trying to do everything just to make sure he was happy. And I know it's not ideal, but what we just decided to do is like, look, let's leave both dogs loose in the kitchen overnight and just see how they get on, because we were at the point, this is probably like a couple of weeks ago, we were at the point where we trusted Rocky and we knew Rocky wouldn't hurt him, and we'd seen how Rocky you know, interacted with him, and we knew that even if they were to play, Rocky knows where the line is, and we know he would stop and not hurt him. So that was our main concern to begin with, but we knew that we'd gotten to the point where we could trust that they'd both be happy and fine together. So we, yeah, basically just been giving them free reign of the kitchen. I have a camera set up down here. I'll link the one that I got because it's actually really good and the night vision's really good on it, so we can like check it on the app. So we were doing that for a little while to make sure they were fine. So in short, crate training is not going very well. We are still crate training, but it's really difficult because he has actual anxiety when it comes to the crate. It's not just a little bit unsure, you know, or attention seeking. He literally is like hanging off the bars. I don't know if you can see where the crate is at the moment. It's just like by the side of our dining table, and it's set back probably like that far from the wall, and he will rock on the bars and move the crate all the way back against the wall. Like, it's genuine anxiety. It's difficult because it's not just attention seeking. So that's why we're getting him more settled. We are crate training him. He eats his meals in the crate, no problem. And it's more separation anxiety, like with the crate on top of that, just like literally tops him over the edge. Because, I mean, I'll talk a bit more about separation anxiety in a minute because that was one of the questions as well. But yeah, we are still persevering because I think it's important to get your dog used to the crate, because there are going to be times when you're traveling, you may need a crate, going to the vets, he has to have the snip at some point, and I don't want him to have that extra stress being in a crate at the vet, because it's inevitable that's going to happen. So I think it's really important to crate train your dogs, even if you aren't going to keep them in a crate forever. Rocky like never goes in the crate anymore, but he isn't scared to go in, and I think that's really important. I understand some people don't like crate training, but for me, that's what I believe, is that it's more just to get them used to it for moments in life when they are going to have to be crated and it's out of your control, that it won't be a stressful experience for them. So yeah, working on that at the moment. We'll get there eventually, but it's definitely a longer journey with a rescue puppy than it was obviously when we got Rocky. So the next question was, does he have any bad habits? And like, I guess yes, because he is a puppy. I guess they're not habits because obviously he's a puppy, like he'll grow out of them, we'll train him out of them. But one thing that him and Rocky both have in common, what Rocky did when he was younger, is picking up stones from the garden. Touch wood, I don't think they eat them. I've been obviously watching them really closely, but it just seems that they just like carrying them around, and digging in the flower bed. That's the only two things. We obviously puppy proof in the garden to make sure they're safe and not creating too much damage. But Rocky did the same when he was younger and he just grew out of it. So not too worried about that at this stage. I think puppies just like to explore and kind of, you know. So I guess that's probably the only bad habit he has. The other kind of bad habits are more related to his separation anxiety, which I'll answer that question now actually, because one of you girls said that you actually have a rescue dog and you're struggling with separation anxiety as well. And I feel you, definitely feel you with that one, because that's something we've really struggled with. And it's quite different because with Rocky has never really overly favoured me or Steve. But with Milo, like Milo is very, very attached to me. And I'm trying to do a lot of stuff to help prevent that too much. But in terms of bad habits, like if Steve stays in the room with him and I leave the room, he'll scratch on the door, he'll whine. He's doing this so much less than he was originally, but where I was doing a lot of stuff for him to begin with, I think he just got that really strong bond with me. And now to kind of, so I guess if you guys have like a dog and you have a dog with your partner and they have separation anxiety to one person, what we've done with that is making sure that Steve feeds the majority of his meals now, where it was me before. Steve like makes more of an effort to play with him, and I give him the space to do that. I make sure that I'm not down here all the time with him. Steve sits down here like during a large portion of the day, works down here with him, and I leave them, because before I was just sitting down working here like all the day, like pretty much all day long, and the amount of time that I wasn't with Milo was very, very like low. So that's the steps that we're taking to make sure he's not too attached to me. He still is attached to me, but yeah, it's just one of these things, like we're just gonna have to wean him off of me a little bit, because obviously I don't want him to be distressed when I'm leaving the room and stuff. But then separation anxiety stuff, what we're doing as a whole, like honestly it has gotten so much better. Like before, when we would leave him, he would scream, like you could hear him from outside, and it's so horrible. Obviously, like I don't want my neighbors to think I'm abusing him as well. Like he is like happy and he's fine, but just the separation stuff is difficult. So what I do is, obviously, like I said, I make sure that I'm not with him all the time. I don't want him to get overly attached to me. It's not healthy for either one of us. But we give him time by himself as well. Every single day he has alone time. He mostly has alone time with Rocky. We'll build that up so it's just him. I'm starting to walk them at the same time, but to begin with, because they walk at very different paces, I take Rocky out quite often by himself so that Milo can get used to being alone, because again, I think that's important. I don't want him to rely on all of us. But I think it's just starting off really small, building it up, because obviously the separation anxiety is, they're just freaking out, like they don't know if you're ever going to come back. So I think in time they will obviously learn it's not so bad, but obviously if you just go straight in, leaving them for hours, then it's really unhealthy for them. So we started off literally leaving him for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, like half an hour. And now we can probably leave him about an hour. But like I said, we're building this up so slowly, because I feel like him, with his start in a kennel kind of environment, he's very fragile. We just don't want one thing to like just tip him over and make things worse. Another thing I did get, which I don't know if this is working or not. So I think it's partially time that's helping, and him settling in the longer he's with us. But I did also get one of those, I'll link it down in the description box. It's a wall plug-in, and it releases, it's all natural stuff, but it releases a certain hormone, which I think is the one that they get when they're like feeding from their mother. I can't remember the exact details, but it's meant to be like a natural remedy just to help kind of chill them out a little bit. And it releases like positive kind of signals in the brain or something like that. So I ordered it from Amazon, just plugged it in right by his crate. And I have a little spray as well, so you can like get a little bandana, spray on the bandana, and that helps, or spray it on their blanket or whatever. So I think that is good to have as an extra little tool. But obviously the whole training side of things is more important. But also I want to say, obviously I'm not a dog trainer. I literally don't know. I just do my own research online. And I think, you know, not one thing works for every single person, but obviously separation anxiety is quite a big deal and it can get worse. So obviously if you're in doubt, definitely just hire a dog trainer, because even if you have one session, the amount of insight you will get will just be incredible and will really help you. So yeah, we're obviously taking our little baby steps at the moment. If it doesn't resolve the way that we want it to, we will definitely get a dog trainer involved. He is booked in for puppy classes beginning of January, which was the next available ones that we could get him into. So obviously any problems we still have then, we'll make sure we work them through in the puppy classes as well. And then next question was puppy must-haves. So I was trying to have a think about this. So one thing that I think is really good, if you're getting a puppy from a breeder, always have a blanket which has the mum's scent on it. That really helps Rocky. He had like a little toy, absolutely loved that. A Kong is a really good idea, especially if you are having to leave your dog. Giving them something to do while you're away is great. So we have a little Kong, you can fill it with cooked chicken, you can get like squirty stuff to put in it, whatever, but they like chewing it anyway because it's rubber, and it also keeps them occupied because they're trying to get the food out. So again, if you're maybe struggling with separation anxiety, that could be a good kind of thing to help as well. Cozy dog bed. So this bed over here that Rocky's sleeping in right now, best thing we've ever bought. We actually got that one from Aldi. They don't do them anymore, annoyingly, but I think they do them on Amazon. They say that they're like anxiety pet beds, and basically like Rocky adores his. They like the high sides, they like snuggling into it. Having a really nice setup or a dog bed like that they're going to feel nice and cozy and safe in, it's really, really important. And obviously dog crate as well. You guys know what I've just said about dog crates. I think it's really important to get a crate and do crate training. We have that's an RAC one. I think I got it on Amazon and it was like 30 quid. I'll try and link the one that I got. But I did see in B&M the other day, they also have dog crates in there for 30 quid. And then the other thing is chewy dog bones. You can get a packet of, I think it's like 7 quid. You get a pack of 3 from Pets at Home, and they're different type ones. There's like 3 different types. And they are great if you have a puppy who is chewing. And we have been giving them to Milo, but Rocky absolutely loves them as well, but Rocky decimates them because they're too soft for him. So, but those are really, really good. Like any kind of rubber stuff, they have a ring, oh there it is, literally by my feet. Stuff like that, any kind of rubber stuff, they just love chewing it. And these are like pretty much indestructible. We've had that for, well, since we've had Rocky basically. Oh, that's Kong as well, I didn't even realise. I think my mum gave it to me. It's a Kong rubber ring. We've got a couple more things like that in the stocking for the dogs as well for Christmas. So we just know they love playing tug of war with that. They love chewing it, keeps them occupied. Make sure they're not chewing anything you don't want them to be. They're perfect kind of toys in my opinion. And you can always get like flavoured or scented ones as well. So yeah, they're gonna favour that over your furniture. But yeah. I feel like whenever I show him on camera, it's like you can't really see him because he's so dark, but he has a very cute little quiff. I've bathed him, I've brushed it. That's the way it wants to live. He is committed to the quiff life. Hey, mister, you're very sleepy, aren't you? That's one thing having 2 is they always like hype each other up, so he doesn't get to sleep much. So he's very tired, but he's literally just the most chilled little baby in the world. Hey, Rocky. And also for anyone worried that Rocky's not getting attention, he literally gets like the most attention. And whenever I come into the room, I always say hello to Rocky first. Rocky is my OG baby. And yeah, I definitely didn't want him to get jealous or anything like that. So don't worry. I know I've been holding and touching Milo a lot in this video because obviously specifically about Milo, but Rocky gets so much attention. But anyway, that is it from us. We hope you guys have a lovely day. If you have enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up because it really supports my channel. And if you haven't already subscribed, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn your notifications on so you never miss an upcoming video. And until next time, we will see you guys later.